I've entitled this message, How to Save Your Husband. And it is baffling to think about how we go from, in a relationship, having the kind of passion that would cause two people to want to merge their identities. And often that same relationship, that same couple will end up only speaking through attorneys. How does that happen? I think there are 4 things, we'll do them as quickly as we can, that happen that cause passion to go out. How does this happen? 2 become 1, 1 become 2. How does something that promises to bring so much intimacy end in isolation? How does something that promises to bring so much pleasure end up producing so much pain? A few observations from the passage. 1, celebration becomes frustration. But if you tolerate what God has called you to celebrate, it will eventually frustrate the relationship. Let me teach you something. I didn't make this up, but it's good. It's called the 80-20 rule. 80-20 rule goes like this. People have a proclivity to leave the 80 that they love to try to get the 20 that they want. Before you leave 80 for 20 in any relationship, you better make sure that that 20 is really worth it. Passion dies out when we becomes me. If you're married, you are not a me anymore. And if you're not ready to go from me to we in every decision, not just some of them, well, I want to get married, but I still, I got my own life too. No, you don't. And if that's what you want, you don't need a marriage. Passion dies when debtors become collectors. How dare you choke somebody else when God had mercy on you? How dare you ask God for patience and you demand payback? How dare you bow your knee to God and then stand over your brother, your sister, your husband, your wife, choking, saying, pay me what you owe me. Passion dies, 1 become 2, and lives are torn apart because covenant becomes contract. Because a contract is based on mutual distrust. But marriage is not a contract. It's a covenant. Sometimes keeping your covenant is not convenient. Because if marriages are gonna make it, it's gonna take a covenant. I got news for you. The reason you're here today is because God made a covenant. That covenant has been pretty inconvenient for God at many times. It wasn't convenient for Jesus to come down from heaven, be born as a baby in a barn because there was no room for him in the inn, but he had a covenant to keep. It wasn't convenient when they mocked him and spit on the face of the radiance of God's glory, but he had a covenant to keep. It wasn't convenient when they drove the nails through his hands and through his feet, but he had a covenant to keep. It wasn't convenient when he shed his blood to forgive you of your sin, but you're here today because you have a covenant-keeping, promise-keeping, oath-making God.